Good morning, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday morning. I wanted to talk about and address some issues and some things that I see a lot that are going on in people's lives and worlds, and share with you some things that I've done that have gotten me where I am today and how you can kind of do the same. You know, I know there's not a single person out there who walks around going, I just want to be unsuccessful. I just want to have a bad day. I just want things to never go my way. But I think what's happening a lot of times is a lot of you are self-sabotaging. A lot of you are doing things that you don't even realize are leading you in that direction of being unsuccessful. And I'm not even talking about business-wise or money-wise. I'm talking about personal fulfillment. I'm talking about things in your life that at the end of the day you think, no matter what happened today, life is pretty good. And how you can have a fulfilled life without sabotaging or helping yourself to do better in that way. And I want to share some things with you personally, what I've been through and how I help myself, how I help my family and help my team to think and grow a little differently than what you're seeing a lot of in the world today. And you know, I grew up a pretty positive person, especially in the last probably 10 years, because I've surrounded myself with more positive thinking people, and not just airy, oh, life is good, dreamy. No, people who get it, who even though they walk through the valley of the shadow of death, even though they walk through things in their lives that are horrendous, they have bad things, they are positive people. And how they do that and why they do that, and that it's so much more than just an emotional grasp of saying, oh, I'm going to have a good day today. It's so much more. It's physiological. And I've been doing a lot of study and a lot of reading on what happens in your body and specifically in your brain that motivates you and pushes you to reach your goals. And what some of you are doing that does the opposite of that, and you don't even realize it. So I'm going to share that with you today and how you can overcome it. Because the bad news is there's a portion of your brain that keeps you from being successful. But the good news is there's a portion of your brain that motivates you and moves you towards success, and you have control of that. And you can do some things that will move you in the direction of success, that will move you in the direction of fulfillment. And as I've been studying and reading and digging into this deeper, I'm amazed. I'm amazed that God created our bodies to do this very thing physiologically that helps us. You know, we talk all the time, even with people who have terrible things that go on in their life, and they say, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. And that's not a cliche thing. Some people use it that way, but God has created our bodies to do amazing things that move us towards success. And so I want to share those things with you today, and what I see and how you can change that. And just to give you a couple of examples, first of all, there are those two portions of your brain that I was telling you about. One is the prefrontal cortex of your brain, and you're about to have a little science lesson here. And the other is the amygdala. But the amygdala, that part of your brain that keeps you very cautious, that keeps you very fearful and wary of change and wary of things around you, that keeps you, wanting to be safe and secure and not take risks. And that's not a bad thing, except when it's overpowering the other part of your brain that says, move forward to success, move forward towards your goals. So when you foster this portion of your brain, when you feed that portion of your brain, scientists have shown that you grow a portion of your brain, that you make it more dense and firing and connecting more in that part of your brain that keeps you from moving forward towards your goals. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to remain stagnant. Nobody wants to sit in a place of misery where they are. No, we all have goals. We all have things that we want to reach. We all have places that we want to see our future be. So we have to figure out a way to not let that portion of our brain keep us from going forward. And the portion of our brain, that prefrontal cortex, is the one that we want to strengthen. And it's the one that we want to develop, that keeps us focused, goal-oriented, and moving forward. And you know, I posted a landscape video last night, or a picture of our sunset here at the lake. And there's a reason I do that. You know, a lot of people think, oh, she's just posting sunset. She just wants us to see this beautiful sunset. Well, yeah, I want to share that with you, but there's deeper reasons. There are reasons why I'm focusing on the good and the positive in this life. That doesn't mean that I don't have things going on right now today that are heart-wrenching to me, that I wish were different, that I'm praying daily and fervently that we're changed and we're different. But that's not where my focus is. Even though, and that's not living in denial, and that's not living in some la-la land. I know what's going on. I've addressed that issue, but you know where my focus is? My focus is on the activity it's going to take to change that. The activity it's going to take to have what I want to be different in my life. So if I want that different, I can't focus on what's wrong. I have to focus on how it's going to be when it's different. How my life and how those things and those people in my life are going to be different when that changes. So when you begin to focus on the positive things, and you hear people all the time, positive thinking, be positive, it's more than just an emotional thing. It's a physiological brain activity that happens that makes you move forward. So when you focus on positive and not negative, when you begin to feed your brain and feed your heart and feed your soul with positive thinking, your body, your brain begins to fire and connect and grow denser and bigger. And that part of your brain is the part that has a lot of cognitive abilities. But one of the things it does is it moves you, motivating you towards your goals. It keeps you focused. It keeps you doing the steps that it takes for you to reach your goals. But if you're never feeding yourself those positive thoughts, guess what part of your brain takes over? The amygdala. It's the default part of your brain that's going to say, I'm just going to stay right here. I'm going to stay right here, focusing on right here, because this is what's comfortable. And if I step out of this, it's uncomfortable. And so when you feed that part of your brain and you focus just on those negative things and dwelling in how bad things are, nothing changes. So when you start feeding that part of your brain, when you start focusing on the positive things, focusing on what life is going to be like when it's not bad anymore, what life is going to be like when you're not dealing with this issue anymore, that part of your brain grows. That prefrontal cortex gets thicker and denser and fires away. And guess what it does? It moves you. It moves you towards your goals, because that's what that part of the brain does. And that's why I posted that last night about the things you can do that make that part of the brain grow and move forward towards your goals. And don't we all that want that? So let me just give you a quick example and then share with you some of the ways that I've utilized this in my life. And I'm not bragging. I'm not trying to put anything out there. I'm just saying that I have a freaking awesome life. And that doesn't mean bad things aren't happening right now today. It's just, that's not my focus. My focus is where I want my life to be, how I want things to be. I get a little emotional thinking about it, but let me tell you, I'm very passionate about this subject. I have a friend. She is an African-American woman. We think very differently on a lot of things, but I love her so much. She's, this is not going to be a political post at all, but I'm going to use a couple of examples. No matter what side of the political realm you are, it won't matter. You'll be able to grasp this, hopefully. But this woman is an amazing woman. She's beautiful, precious. I disagree with her on just about everything. But here's what she does. She's not happy with some things that have gone on. She doesn't like some of the things that's gone on. She's pointed that out and said, I don't like this. But guess what her consistent posts are? How she's going to change it, how it's going to change. She visualizes what it's going to be like when it's better. She focuses on that. She points people in that direction. She is an inspirational person, even though I don't necessarily agree with her views. I would never get rid of her. I would never hide her. I want to see her because she's positive, and there's not a doubt in my mind she's going to see some things come to fruition in her life. She's going to be successful. And then I have this other friend, y'all, and same thing. She's a woman. She's an African-American woman. We think very differently on a lot of issues. Her focus for months and months, if not years, has been so negative. everything bad about what's going on. It's horrible, the state that we're in, what's going on. It's horrible, it's horrible. Everything is miserable. We're doomed. We are doomed. Guess where her focus is? Her focus is, she has now put her future doomed. That's where her focus is. And guess what part of her brain is going crazy right now? That amygdala part that will keep her right there. You wonder about those negative Nancys, those negative Nellies that you see in your life, and you're like, man, as long as I've known her, it's been bad stuff in her life. Every time it's just bad stuff happening to her. You know why? She's living in that, dwelling in that, and that part of her brain is growing that keeps her right where she is. She's not fostering that prefrontal cortex that's going to move her out of her circumstances. She might want something to be different, but she's not focusing on that. And so the part of her brain, the activity that will move her forward and out of that won't happen. It's physiologically impossible, and she's doing it to herself. That doesn't mean that we have to live in some la-la land. Oh, everything is just wonderful. No, because everybody has crap in their life, and everybody's dealing with issues that are not pleasant. But where your focus is where you're going. And I'm seeing it, especially now, because it's a political time. I'm seeing it on both sides of the aisle. The people that are just constantly dwelling on the negative and pouring their energy and focus into how bad it is right now and how bad someone else is and how awful, awful, awful it is, they're going to stay right there. Nothing's going to change. But I'm telling you, those life changers, the people that are saying, okay, this is how it is. But guess what? I see it out there. I'm visualizing it. So when I post those pictures of beautiful sunsets and things that are amazing in my life, it's not to say I don't have anything going on in my life. It's to say I see where I want my life, and that's where my focus is. That's what I want. I don't want to be this person that 10 years from now is just, I told y'all it was bad. I told you it was always going to be bad. Guess what? It's always going to be bad for that person. I want to be this person over here that sees a positive future, that has goals and visions, and I know that can happen. I know it can happen. That doesn't mean hard times aren't going to be along the way. That doesn't mean things are always going to go my way, but my focus is on that. And in doing that, I'm training that part of my brain that motivates me and pushes me in that direction. It's the craziest thing. It's the beautiful thing that we have control of. We have control of how our bodies function. God has given us this amazing gift to control our future. And I'm not some name it and claim it, type of person. I'm saying name it and then work for it. But when we train the part of our brain that doesn't allow us to work for it, guess where we stay? We stay stagnant. We stay in the same position we've been for the last 10 years. And that's not okay with me. And I don't want it to be okay for my family, and I don't want it to be okay for my team. So I'm talking and sharing things with them to hopefully motivate, inspire, and push people in that direction. With my family, one of my children tends to be more negative. And, we are all born a certain way, but we can foster certain aspects of our personality, right? We can develop certain aspects of our personality and our character to be better. And this child of mine tends to be more negative typically. And so what I've had to do since he was little was he can always state issues. He can always come to me and tell me issues, but that can never be the focus. And if there's an issue, he always has to tell me what it's going to be like when it's different, how we're going to get there. And that's our focus. Every single day that I pick him up from school, I make him tell me the most positive thing, the best part of his day. Before he can complain about anything, because he will, before he can say anything, he has to tell me the best part of his day. He has to share with me, vocalize it, get his mind firing right here in the prefrontal cortex. He's got to get that going and share with me the good part of the day. And then he can tell me what the issues are. And then he has to tell me how we're going to change it and how that can be better. And sometimes we have to do that with ourselves, right? Because sometimes we wake up and the tendency is just to be negative and gripe and complain. Whoa. Back it up, Jackie. Back it up. Let's think something positive first. And I know some of you have probably thought, yeah, people say before you get out of bed, think 5 positive thoughts and it makes you feel all good. Physiologically, things are changing in your brain. It's the coolest thing. So it's not just some emotional reaction that you're working for. Your brain, you can change your brain, and that will move you to action. So when you see these people that you're like, God, they're just successful all the time, I guarantee you they are not sitting back dwelling on the negative yuck that's going on right now. They're looking at what it's going to be like when it's not that way. They're focusing on that, and they're working that brain. It's like a muscle. You use it or you lose it, right? So that's one of the ways that, I kind of help my family. Let's be positive. And we've had stuff, man. We've had some stuff in our family that, God, I wish I could change. I wish I could change the facts, but I just couldn't. But what I can change is focus. What I can change is my brain to be motivated to move in that direction. And another thing that you can do besides focusing on the positive vision, and you have to have vision. What's your vision for the future? Are you stuck right here? Like, are you living in a place in your life and you're just dwelling there? Are you miserable in your job, in your relationships? Or are you looking at what it can be like if it was different? Are you focusing on that? Because if you'll start focusing on what it can be like when your life is different and just focus on that, you'll find yourself being more motivated to move towards that goal. So you have to have that. And you know what another thing is you can do? Exercise. Hello. And stop dwelling on where you are. Stop looking at your thighs and your booty and your muffin top. Stop looking and focusing on that, and start focusing on what you could feel like if you were healthy and fit. What that's going to look like, what that's going to feel like. Put your mind there. We tear ourselves down, especially as women, so bad. And we constantly do negative self-talk. Guess what you're doing? You're strengthening that amygdala. You're strengthening that part of your brain that's going to keep you right where you are. Stop doing that. Start talking positive about yourself. Start seeing yourself more fit, healthier, thinner, whatever your goals are for yourself physically. Start visualizing yourself that way. Start pushing towards that goal and not where you are. Because when you do that, that front portion of your brain is going to start working for you. And you're going to start seeing yourself more motivated. And those people that you see that are successful, I guarantee you they're not dwelling in the ugliness. They're not. That doesn't mean we don't ever visit there, but they're not living there. They're focusing on changing their lives, changing their mind physiologically. It's amazing. It's an incredible thing that can happen in your body when you do that. If you want to see change in your life, you better start focusing on what it's going to be like when it's happening, when it's already happened. And stop living where you are today, dwelling in what might not be so good right now in your life. Our bodies are a very cool thing. And you can always Google this and learn more about it because it's cool. It's a very cool thing about how our brains actually work. Do you want to be successful? Do you want to have a good marriage and be financially stable and have good relationships and love your job and have a future that you never, ever thought you could have? Start seeing it. Start focusing on it. Start doing those things. I listed 10 things last night in that sunset post that I made. Start doing those 10 things. Get sleep. Hug people more. Have positive thoughts. Put on those rose-colored glasses and see life good. Stop seeing life bad. It will change you. I'm telling you, I'm living proof that it can happen. And there's a lot of people around you. You'll start noticing the people now too. You'll start noticing the ones that you're like, she's living in this amygdala world. She's really got a strong part of her brain that's going to keep her right there. You're going to start noticing people, wow, he's got a strong prefrontal cortex. It's the truth. It's so cool. And so I hope this has helped to give you some information that's not just kind of la out there. Put it in place. And I can't wait to see how your life changes. I'm telling you, if you'll do this, you'll see great things happen in your life. You'll see success in areas of your life that you never even thought possible. Think about it. Focus on the positive. Get yourself out of this negative world and see things change and things happen. Thanks, guys. I hope you have a great day.